thank you for joining us. I'm so stoked for today's show. Today's podcast is going to be the power of plant-based nutrition. And let me tell you something, guys. I can tell you that I've talked about this before. I started my journey as a personal trainer. I've been enthralled and immersed in the fitness and health world for so long that I've been so fit and energized, and that's where I get all this energy from, because I have a vessel, I have an instrument called my physical human body that I can now take my ideas and inspirations, all of my talents, so I can filter it through my physical body. And everything's being filtered through your physical body. All your ideas, your thoughts, emotions, everything. But if your body is unhealthy, it's not energized, and you're not feeding it the right nutrition, and if you're not exercising it right, doing the breathing exercise and meditating, all the necessary things that we talk about on the show, trust me when I say this, you're not going to be able to show up as a better or more improved, advanced, enhanced version of yourself. So this particular episode I'm very passionate about, and I wanted to get another expert on board to kind of just add their own flavor to the power of nutrition, the power of physical fitness, the power of taking care of your human body. Here's the reality. Your body is a $10 million vehicle. So feed it the right fuel. Take care of it, because it's the only real body that you have. And let me tell you something. And when you take care of your body will take care of you. Right? That's the truth of it. So before we get into this, I am so stoked about our guest on this show, because man, she is amazing energy. She's the female version of me. But she's just amazing, energizing, passionate, purposeful. And her name is Brittany Mcqueary. She is a mindset and wellness coach. She's a certified personal trainer and certified personal trainer and yoga instructor, specializing in pre and postnatal fitness, as well as weight loss and strength training. She has an integrative nutrition certification through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. She's also a level 2 certified fascial stretch therapy practitioner, along with a vibrant personality and zest for life. She's extraordinarily passionate about helping others achieve their best selves through mental mindset, fitness, and nutritional strategies. Please help me welcome to the show, Brittany Mcqueary. What's going on, Brittany?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for joining us on this show. I know you're so busy, and the fact that you're taking, an hour or so out of your day, your busy day, to join us and to speak your truth, speak your wisdom. Thank you for joining us. What's going on with you?
Not too much. I'm really excited to be on the show. So thank you for having me. I haven't done this before, so.
Oh my gosh, great. This is awesome. So there's a little bit of nervousness and excitement at the same time, right?
Absolutely.
That's exactly it. So let's get right into it. Tell us, before we get into plant-based nutrition, tell us about your personal journey into becoming who you are, into loving fitness, loving your body, using certain strategies and nutritional wise, mental strategies to become the version of yourself, and then make it a career. So tell us about your journey.
Yeah. So my journey started, I was always into sports as a kid. And then I really started to get into going to the gym and eating healthy, probably around the age of like 14, 15, because most of us aren't raised on a very healthy diet.
Yes.
So yeah, I started to get into fitness and health, and in the back of my mind, I always knew it was something that I wanted to do. I didn't take that road right away. I actually was in marketing and PR for a little while, but something was calling me to get back into fitness and health, and I just started to study. I did my personal training certification, followed by yoga, nutrition, and I just became addicted to it, to feeling good. And it's great to look good as well. But when you're feeling good from the inside out, it's just another level. 100%. So in regards to plant-based nutrition, I actually decided to become vegetarian when I moved to Asia. I had spent a few years there, and then it was just, I couldn't get good quality meat. And that was what triggered my transition, I guess you could say. And from there, it turned into more of a compassionate thing, and then an environmental thing. So it was it turned out to be a very well-rounded decision in regards to like health, environment, and compassion. And I just grew from there. And it's been about, over 6 years now.
Wow.
Over 6 years now. So fantastic. Yeah.
That's great. So I want to ask you a question, Shana. Now you're vegan and Cameron's vegan. I know you guys would hit it off for sure. Why did you become vegan? If you don't mind telling the world this.
Yeah. For me, it really started off as it started off, like I said, I was in Asia and I couldn't get good quality meat. I was never a huge meat eater. Yeah. And I was always a huge animal lover. For me, it was a very smooth transition. It's something just clicked in my mind one day, and I started learning, especially when I took my nutrition course, I started learning about where meat was coming from and how people were getting it. And I really started making the connection between, animals and food. And not too many kids understand that growing up. People just think the food that they're eating on their plate is food. And there's no connection, like deeper connection than just like, okay, well, I'm eating this food, I'm putting it in my body to get nutrients. And it's very like, we're conditioned to think like that's the way it is. And we never question it. So I started questioning it, and I just did a deep dive. I went down the rabbit hole and learned everything there was to learn about plant-based nutrition, and there was just no turning back for me.
Good for you. Good for you. For me, I was a vegetarian for about 6 months and I loved it. And I have to say that 95%, 97% of my diet is plant-based nutrition. I rarely ever eat meat myself, but when I do, it's very little. But it's like, I feel this energy multiplying crazy when I started this journey myself and taking supplements, plant-based supplements, stuff like that. And I definitely, plant-based nutrition is a big, I endorse it big time with clients, friends, family on the show, which is why I'm having on the show. So what's the number one thing you want to teach people that you want people to get when it comes to plant-based nutrition?
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a lot of myths surrounding.
Okay. So yeah, let's uncover them.
So definitely one of them is, where do I get my protein from? That is the go-to question. And I'm sure Cam has had this question over and over again. So you can get your protein from absolutely all the plants you're eating. But then a lot of people say, well, you can't get your complete proteins. And the thing with complete proteins is there's all these essential amino acids, and there's not just one plant that you can get all those essential amino acids from, but you can get them from a number of plants, and you don't have to eat them all in one meal. So if you mix some rice and beans together, you're getting all your amino acids. If you mix a peanut butter sandwich, your peanuts and your bread, you're getting all your essential amino acids.
Fantastic.
So people have this theory that you can't get your protein from plants, and it is absolutely false. I mean, the animals that are full of protein are getting their protein from the plants that they're eating. So the animals are just the middleman.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on about that. I mean, there's so much science backing it, but I'm not a scientist. So I would let people do their own research on that. But that is a myth that definitely needs to be busted.
Well, one thing I want to add to that, I mean, if you look at like common sense, if you look at in reality, when is the one time in our life where we need to grow the most? And it's when we're infants. That's when we need the most protein. And if you look at mother's milk, and I learned this a long time ago, mother's milk, superfood, which is the best for babies, and that's what you feed a child. And within 3 months, they've tripled their body weight. That's probably one most time where you're going to need the most protein. What's the percentage of mother's milk that is protein in actual mother's milk? I didn't know this. 1.2 to 1.6% of mother's milk is protein.
Absolutely.
And you think
fat.
I know, it's all fat. And you think we've been fed this lie that basically says we need now 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Garbage.
I mean, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this is something everybody should watch. It's this new documentary that's called The Game Changers.
Yes.
And it is phenomenal. Everybody should watch it, check it out, because they have people on there, and these people haven't been vegans their whole life or plant-based, essentially plant-based, primarily plant-based diets. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's not full on plant-based, but most of his diet now is plant-based. And I mean, what's that one line like, oh, you punch like a vegetarian. And now,
now he's
primarily plant-based.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's massive. And there's all these, like one of the men in this documentary, he won for lifting like the heaviest and walking with the heaviest amount of weight. And he's plant-based. And, it's just busting all these myths wide open. So it's definitely something to open your eyes to and dig a little deeper. B12 is another one that people think that they're going to be lacking in. And there's been studies done showing that people who eat primarily meat-based diets are lacking B12 as well. So again, the animals are the middleman. The animals are eating the plants, and all the bacteria coming from the soils is what B12 is, or you're getting B12 from rivers and waters. But because our soils are so depleted now, it's very difficult for anybody to get their B12. So the best way to get their B12 supplement, or to get their B12, is by taking a supplement. And there are definitely foods that are fortified with B12, and nutritional yeast is one of my go-to.
Glad you're saying that.
I mean, I sprinkle that on everything: popcorn, stir fries.
Tastes amazing too. It does.
Tastes so amazing. It's like buttery.
Yes, it is totally nutritional yeast. Also, sea vegetables. So certain sea vegetables are high in B12.
Yes, sea vegetables are high in B12. And my husband and I, we have a doctor who's actually plant-based, which is a great thing, like a great person to go and talk to, because they have all the science behind them. Like they're learning about this stuff, and he's specifically learning about plant-based nutrition, which is awesome. And we got all of our levels checked just to make sure we weren't lacking in anything. And my husband actually was too high in B12, and he had to stop taking a B12 supplement. It's because over the years, your body can actually hold on to B12 for quite a long time. And he was a heavy meat eater. So he was holding on to that B12, and it can actually be quite toxic. So, it doesn't matter whether you're eating plant-based or if you're a meat eater, you should get your levels checked no matter what, because we could all be eating too much or too little of something.
Fantastic. I appreciate you actually telling that, because a lot of people don't go to the doctor to get their blood tested or for physical stuff like that. And you never know, right? So that's fantastic.
Totally worth it.
Yeah. So maybe add one other myth. If there's another myth that you can talk about as well.
Another myth is people think that they're going to be low in iron. And
yes, that's another one. Good.
And you know what? I think that it's a lot of ignorance. Like people just, and they're not educated in this. So you just have to ask questions and talk to experts, like people who know, because it's okay not to know. You just have to start learning and investigating. And with iron, like when I was pregnant, my midwife was so nervous that my iron levels were going to be so low, because when you're pregnant, your iron levels do drop. And they were worried that I was going to have to take iron supplements or eat meat. And I was like, no.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no. like quinoa, lentils, soybeans, tofu, tempeh, black beans, chickpeas, like so many things have iron in it. So you just have to make sure you're eating the right stuff. And it's not hard to find out what, and I got, again, my blood taken when I was pregnant, and she could not believe my level. She was like, she thought that I started eating meat. She could not believe it. She's like, some of the women who come in here who do eat meat, their levels are so low and yours are so much higher. And I'm like, it's just because people don't know. And like I said, it's okay not to know. Just ask questions.
Sure. That's awesome. Amazing. So we got 3 amazing myths about iron. We got B12. We got the protein myth. All those are busted. You can not only survive, but thrive on a plant-based nutritional diet. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this there, Brittany, about exactly what recommendations do you have about starting a plant-based nutritional diet?
So definitely you could join Facebook groups. That's a good way. Like there's lots of Facebook groups you can hop on, like Toronto. Well, I'm in Toronto, so Toronto Vegans. They're posting things all the time about restaurants you can check out, because being on a plant-based diet does not just mean eating salads all day long. There's so many. I mean, look at this Beyond Meat. You can go to A&W now. You can go to Tim Hortons. There's so many places that are offering plant-based meals. However, do not survive on only plant-based meats.
Yes,
Make sure you're eating your whole foods too. Another great thing to do is buy some cookbooks. Like Oh, She Glows is a great cookbook. Thug Kitchen is like this awesome dude who makes all these like French toast and like mac and cheese. So have fun with it.
Amazing. And by the way, you're the one who sent me that vegan pancake mix.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. My kids actually I have to say, my kids actually like it more than the pancakes I used to make. And the pancakes I used to make, and I'm going to tell that on social media, on podcasts, everything. My pancakes I used to get, people used to come over and sleep over. I used to make these famous pancakes that my mom used to, from scratch, and everyone was like blown away, right? But then I make these new ones, and it's so much better for you nutritional wise. It's plant-based, totally 100% vegan. My kids love it, and it's amazing. So yeah, and here's the other myth I kind of want to add to what you're saying is that, if I'm a plant-based, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much harder. I have to shop and buy crickets and stuff, right? It's like, right? Or not crickets. I guess crickets wouldn't be a vegan diet. But what I'm saying is like, these weird sort of snails or whatever. But what I'm saying is it's a lot easier than people think. Yeah. A lot easier. Like, right? So even adding hemp seeds to your smoothies and chia seeds, I love all that stuff. So
and like all those hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seed, that gets you all of your omegas as well.
Yeah, amazing.
People are like, oh my gosh, you're not getting, the healthy fats, but you can, absolutely.
Okay.
And there's lots of good food. I mean, maple syrup is vegan.
That's exactly it, right? So what are some specifics that you can tell our audience about in terms of specific foods that you would recommend? Like the huge crave now has been the past 30 years have talked about superfoods. Yeah. And what superfoods would you recommend that would amplify someone's plant-based nutritional regimen? What would you say?
Definitely the seeds, like what we were just talking about. Hemp hearts, flax meal, chia seeds, like throw those in your oats, throw those in your smoothies. You can also do, oh my gosh, what is the name of it? Spirulina.
Spirulina, yeah.
Yeah, spirulina is a great thing to throw into smoothies. And then some of our go-to meals, especially if you're just starting out, like you can make it really simple by making stir fries for yourself. You chop up some vegetables. Tofu and tempeh are easy. Like start with the basics. Don't try and make some like extravagant meal to start that you might not succeed with and then be like, oh, I give up.
Yes, of course.
Tahini, like have fun with sauces as well. Like we'll mix like tahini with maple syrup and sriracha and a little bit of water.
I'm coming to your house, Britt. I'm coming to your house. Let me tell you, Cam and I are going to be there soon.
But yeah, and like get inspired by people like the Oh, She Glows cookbook, Thug Kitchen. There's this other woman called Edgy Veg. Like there's a lot of people on social media who have amazing recipes, and it's really easy to follow. I mean, unless you want to start making you want to start baking plant-based stuff, that's when you might need a little help. Sure.
Now let's kind of take this to we're going to take a different direction with this. And we talked about a lot of the myths. We talked about nutrition. We talked about specific, recommendations you might have. Now, the other part of this is not just about physical health and well-being. This is about environmental as well. So what in your mind, I mean, I've learned a lot. I know Cam has learned a lot about the environment, even little things like to keep one steer alive, it takes X amount of water, equivalent to, 20,000 potatoes that we could feed like so many people. So from an environmental point of view, what have you learned? Because in terms of me kind of transitioning into a more plant-based diet myself, it was not just about physical health for me necessarily. That was number one, but it was also from a spiritual point of view as well as an environmental point of view. So I started integrating not just the individual physical body that I am, but also Mother Gaia, the Gaia system, Mother Earth, as well as my spiritual beliefs as well. And so how where does that tie into this plant-based nutrition for you?
Yeah. One of the biggest things for me is like, if you, it takes all the emissions that, sorry, what am I saying here? So for factory farming to stay alive, like to keep it all going, to produce all this meat, gives off more emissions than all transport in the world. So I'm talking trains, planes, cars, buses, like everything. Wow. Yeah, it's wild. And the land that it takes to grow the crops just to feed the animals that then we're, eating. It's wild.
We're destroying our ecosystem. We really are. Like,
Absolutely.
if you think about it, like anyone that isn't really understands the whole, how individuals affect the whole, it's absolutely real. And I think also too, for me spiritually, as I grow spiritually, I'm having a lot more respect in my connection with not just the earth, but animals. Like, I mean, the other day, and I was telling my friends about this, where I was walking and I saw this big bumblebee on the sidewalk, and I decided just to watch it. And I guess its wings were injured, and I was just simply watching it, and I was talking to it. And the old Anthony a long time ago would have just stepped on and killed it and just killed it. I'm like, no, man, this is like, it's suffering, but I want to talk to it and send it love. And it was like that. 5-6 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done that, but I'm respecting life more and more. And I honestly believe, and I got this from Sean Korn. She's a famous yoga instructor. Shauna Korn, I think her name is. Anyway, she talked about how when you start to live consciously about your choices, it's hard. You're basically conflicted between who you used to be and who you are now. So you got the old version pulling you and got the new version pulling you. So, but there comes a tipping point when you basically make a decision. It's like, for the earth and for your health and for your spiritual beliefs, you can't make those old decisions anymore.
No.
So, right. So in any case, what about from a spiritual point of view? Like, how does it affect you spiritually?
Oh man, honestly, I feel the same way as you do. And I felt that way for a long time. Like, I feel such a deeper connection with animals, and it's just on a completely different level now. Like, because I was vegetarian for years prior to becoming vegan. And again, it was, I knew about everything that was going on, but not to the extent that I eventually learned.
Yes.
And when I got my dog, and it's kind of like the same story about the bee with you. When I got my dog, something inside of me switched, and I was like, how can I love my dog so much, like have this unconditional love for her, and then eat meat? And for me, it was just that. And I know a lot of people don't feel that same connection maybe initially, but I mean, my husband, he ended up going vegan or plant-based for health reasons. And now he's starting to become more conscious about all the things that are connected to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
People also have to know another myth, and it's not about, any food or vitamins or protein or anything like this, but another myth or stereotype really is that it's my way or the highway. And that's not true. I think that veganism or going plant-based, people have got a bad rep because one person might attack somebody for not choosing to live this lifestyle. Yeah. And you know what? That's just that one person, because everybody is on their own journey. I mean, I did not become plant-based overnight. It was a journey. Sure. And I did have some like overnight epiphanies where I was like, okay, well, I've been vegetarian for X amount of years, and then I decided I couldn't go back after the stuff that I had learned. And like every little bit, it does matter. It plays a role. So like, even if you start having like one day a week where you're only eating plant-based foods.
Fantastic.
Okay,
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Like, continue. So you, one day, that's great. Yeah. What other recommendations do you have for people to get started to introducing plant-based to their daily routine? One
thing that I always say is start to crowd out. So a lot of people, they're like, they want to quit like that, cold turkey seems like the wrong term to use here.
Yes.
But yeah, a lot of people just want to quit like that. And then they end up binging, or it's like, if you're trying not to eat bad foods or naughty foods or unhealthy foods, and then they end up binging. Or if you're trying not to drink alcohol for a month or something, and then you end up binging, like, don't do it like that. Don't be so extreme. Yes. Just slowly start to crowd out, the meat, the dairy, the eggs, and introduce more whole food, plant-based foods into your life, and it'll just start to come more naturally to you. Yeah. Instead of putting milk in your coffee, dairy, milk in your coffee, have some almond milk or oat milk. I mean, there's a million different types of dairy alternatives.
100%.
So,
I mean, that's fantastic. Even smoothies, plant-based smoothies are big. Like I take 2 plant-based smoothies a day because I'm going all day long and I don't have a lot of time to cook and do all this other stuff. Yeah. But I make a smoothie in the morning and a smoothie in the afternoon, and that gives me a ton of energy. And it's a lifesaver for me because it's quick. I can take it with me anywhere. So smoothies is also a big one as well. And even fresh squeezed juices, stuff like that. And you know what? It's becoming more accessible too. As you said, there's, the Beyond Meat burgers and all these other things. Where was that restaurant, that Boon Burger?
Yeah,
like all those restaurants are amazing. And if you've never actually went to a vegan restaurant and actually had a vegan burger with vegan French fries or something, in fact,
don't diss it till you've tried it.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna go, oh my gosh, this is actually really, and the vegan mayo and the vegan ketchup, and you're like, oh my gosh, this tastes absolutely amazing, right?
Totally.
So don't discount it. Yeah, for sure.
And you can have my husband and I always bring like vegan cheesecake, vegan ice cream. There are so many good desserts,
Yes.
My husband and I always bring those to family gatherings, and we don't tell anybody that they're vegan because, again, they're stereotyped. They're like, oh my God, oh, vegan, oh, gross. And then they eat it. And then after they find out and they're like, oh, that was actually really good.
Yes.
So,
amen, sister. Amen.
There's this quote by Margaret Mead, and I always relate back to this, and it's never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And it's true, like it doesn't have to be the entire world, but like small changes over a longer period of time is okay too, just be thoughtful and be conscious and like be intuitive about it.
And I think too, I mean, like, look, Jesus had 12 disciples, right? And it literally shocked the world and created, the Christian religion as we know today. And that was 1.5 billion followers of the Christian religion. And that's the point of it, is to start small every single day. And I think you make a point too about veganism. People, there's going to be one that's going to stand out and judge everybody, and going to say, oh, is that a leather jacket you're wearing? Or are you recycling those things? And there's going to be some person that's going to be a fanatic about it. But that's, as you said, that's like 0.001% of the population.
Yeah.
I know, just like you two, Cameron and you are vegans, and you guys are extraordinary human beings, highly conscious, highly aware, highly compassionate, and just want to give up themselves to the world and want to save the world. One person at a time, one meal at a time, and one exercise at a time. So I think you've given our audience such a tremendous base, simplistic base for people to just be, number one, seal the gap, like educational gap about plant-based nutrition, and sort of, eradicate some of the myths. But I think a lot of people out there, if you're going to get started, start small. As you said, one day of veganism, even just a salad without any meat, add some tempeh, add some hemp seeds and chia seeds, whatever it might be. And if you start doing that, make the transition. It doesn't mean you have to go full vegetarian or full veganism, whatever it might be. Just starting adding all the colors of the rainbow from our beautiful planet Earth. And you will, here's the thing, what you will feel and experience, and I'm sure Brittany and Cameron can attest to this, your energy levels will go through the stratosphere. Like, it's just unbelievable. And I thought I was a normal energetic guy, but now it's just on another scale. Like, it's incredible the amount of energy that I have. And it's not just like energy and then I'll drop. It's like sustainable energy. I have a salad or a smoothie or whatever it might be, a juice, whatever it might be. And I'm sure you feel the same way. We want to endorse you. So she's on Instagram. She's on Facebook, Brittany Mcqueary. Reach out to her.
Just Brit McQuarrie.
Oh, Brit McQuarrie. Sorry, my fault. And look her up on Facebook, Instagram, on her website as well. Do you want to give your website if you want? Any contact information?
The best place to reach me at right now is just Instagram and Facebook. And it's just Brit McQuarrie, Brit with 1 T.
Brit with 1 T. And I tell you, man, her beautiful face, awesome to look at you. It's amazing to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. So to your continued upgrade and evolution, guys, live it up with power, purpose, and passion. God bless. We'll see you next time. Have an amazing, amazing day.